All right, example 3 asks us to find 4 consecutive integers. So the only difference in setting this up, again, it says consecutive integers, so it makes it this kind of problem. But it says find 4, so when we list our 4, n, add 1, you get n plus 1, add 1 to that, you get n plus 2, you add 1 to that, you get n plus 3. So you include that 4th integer. And our list of answers is going to have 4 answers on it now. Okay, I don't like the wording of this so much, but it says 6 times the first and fourth. To me, that means to add the first and fourth and multiply by 6. I prefer to say 6 times the sum of the first and fourth, but we'll just assume that's what it means, okay? So 6 times the sum of the first and fourth. So n first plus fourth, n plus 3, is equals... 26 less than is going to be minus 26 at the very end of this thing, right? Because it happens after is. 10 times the third. Here's the third, n plus 2. Again, n plus 2 is more than one object, so parentheses required to do the multiplication. That's the most common mistake made by students at this point, would be multiplying a number times one of these 3 and not using parentheses. Because again, each of these represents one thing with 2 objects, so parentheses necessary to multiply. And then 26 less than minus 26 over here on the far right-hand side of the equation. So the overall basic structure of the equation is the same as was in the last one, right?
Yes.
Got a couple like terms here I can add together, then distribute, here distribute, and add like terms. So I get 6 parentheses 2n plus 3. Multiply the 6 through gets me 12n plus 18. Over here, 10 times n plus 2 makes 10n plus 20 minus 26. So if I combine like terms, I get 10n minus 6. The right hand side, those add up to the minus 6. I got n and number on one side, n and number on another side, so I'm going to take the 10n over to the left, becomes negative 10n. Move the 18 to the right, becomes negative 18. That gets me 2n equal to negative 24. So n equals negative 12. One thing I'm going to mention about these before I finish this one up, it does always ask for consecutive integers, so you should get an integer answer. If you get n equals a half, I guarantee you're wrong, because that half's not an integer. So when you do this, expect to get a nice pretty answer like that, negative 12, or the last one was 2, wasn't it? That's the kind of answer you should get. If it says consecutive integers, you should get an integer. All right? Now, with negative integers, let me caution you that we are adding 1, adding 2, and adding 3. And all of a sudden, I see a lot of people putting negative 13, negative 14, negative 15, because they're thinking addition. They see 12 plus 1 is 13. But negative 12 plus 1 is negative 11. And negative 12 plus 2 is negative 10. Negative 12 plus 3 is negative 9. Be careful with negative numbers. You are adding to a negative, so that actually creates subtraction. Do be careful, that does happen. And again, that'd be the second most common mistake people make on these at this point. Get a negative answer and go the wrong direction with your answers. So be careful that you do that correctly. Again, every time we do this, we're finding out what n equals. N represents the first object. This is how we find the next 3 objects. So apply that to the actual answer and add subtract based on signs at that point.
Are those supposed to happen instead of that?